President's Day Invite in San Diego is one of the most historic Frisbee tournaments of the year, where teams have the rare opportunity to play 3 days, meaning the championship game is played on Monday. It's the biggest tournament for teams in the Southwest and Northwest regions, as well as the start of the season for Colorado Mama Bird. So, let's see how they did. Cal Poly was able to secure first place spot, going 3-0, but not before being taken to Universe by the Scotsman. Washington also did well, beating out Utah State 13-10. They advance to Sunday Power Play. In Pool B, Colorado looked as dominant as ever, winning all of their games with at least a 6-point margin. And Zion Curtin was able to move on to Sunday Power Play after beating the San Diego Squids and the Stanford Bloodthirsty. In Pool C, Oregon came out on top, beating each of their opponents by 4, which made for an interesting fight for second. With the Vikes beating Smog, UCLA beating Santa Barbara, and the Black Tide beating Victoria, it came down to point differential. And following the USAU format, the Vikes came out on top, sending UCLA out of the tournament where they won't have an opportunity to compete in Monday's bracket. Finally, for the most exciting pool of the day, every match in this pool was close, with the largest margin of victory only being 3 points. And the games Oregon State played were the closest. In the first game of the day against Santa Cruz, the score reached 9-8 where the soft cap went off, meaning that if the Beavers can score one more time, they would walk away with the W and the upset. But the Slugs were able to quickly score, sending the game to a Universe point with Oregon State on O-line. And the Beavers were able to score without a hitch, upsetting Santa Cruz and keeping their Monday bracket hopes alive. But the last game of the day would be the deciding factor. Oregon State would have to face the 5th-seeded Thunderbirds. And since they lost to Cal, they would have to win this game in order to have a chance to play in Monday's championship bracket. With the score tied 7-7, whoever scored next would take half with a lead. Oregon State took half, then went up one break when soft cap went off, giving them an 11-10 lead on O-line. In order for British Columbia to stay in this tournament, they need to break to force Universe, then break on Universe. And it looked like they could pull it off, getting their first break. Then, after getting a turn on Universe,
fuck out of here, boy. Get that weak shit out of here.
Sterling does not look well. 2 wonderful saves and 2 definite concussions.
They may replace him at this point. He's done all he can.
Yes, as his trainer takes him off the field like a mustached lion dragging a gazelle through the Serengeti.
Adieu, Scott Sterling.
Adieu.
they worked it all the way down the field to the goal line, setting themselves up for a 3-point comeback. But they threw it away, and the Beavers were able to score. Oregon State secured their spot in Sunday's power play, while UBC is already out of Monday bracket contention. Now, we move on to Sunday power pools, where the top 3 teams in each pool move on to Monday. In Pool 1, Slow Core beat Oregon Ego by 2 in their rematch, winning the pool and having a first-round bye for Monday bracket. And the Oregon State Beavers proved that their Sunday pool play performance wasn't a fluke by taking down the Zion Curtain to advance. Colorado looked unstoppable, beating every team by 4 points or more. Cal and Washington were evenly matched, finishing with the same point differential in their pool. But Cal beat Washington on Universe to take second in the pool, forcing Washington to settle for third. And now, for the best day of the tournament. Monday, Monday, Monday. In the quarterfinals, Oregon was able to handle Washington. In an Oregon State rematch against Cal, they pulled off the upset, winning 13-12, meaning that Oregon State pulled off 4 upsets in order to reach the semifinals. For the semifinal games, Slow Core and Colorado continued their dominance, where Colorado beat Oregon by 7, and Slow beat Oregon State by 10, which leads us to a long overdue finals rematch. Back in 2022, the game was decided on a Universe print.
You in black. Fuck out of here, boy. Get that weak shit out of here. Mountain my house. You in black.
Colorado won 11-10. This is the most anticipated matchup of the year so far, with undefeated Colorado Mama Bird versus undefeated Cal Poly Slow Core. Slow's offense usually initiated out of a split stack or hoe stack, and then flowed into a side stack offense. When Slow was on defense, they usually ran a 3-3-1 zone. They would then get into man after a few throws or stay in it for as long as they could. Colorado initiated out of a hoe stack and stuck with hoe flow. They kept it simple on defense by playing in the lanes on the pool play and running either straight man or forced middle. Slow started the game with a break, but Colorado was able to respond with a break in kind. The score reached 3-3, and after a poor Mama Bird hop, Slow was able to break, taking back the lead. This is when Slow Core started to apply pressure on their zone. Instead of playing man after a few throws, they continued to stay in it, until, eventually, the wind started to take its course, and Slow eventually broke again, extending their lead. With Slow Core up 7-6, Mama Bird could use a break to keep the game within reach. but they couldn't stop Slow Core's offensive attack, and Cal Poly took the half 8-6. Slow was able to hold coming out of the half, then force a turn and a break, giving them a 4-point lead. Suddenly, the offenses started firing, scoring goals at ease. The score reached 12-8, and Mama Bird had yet to force a turn in the second half. Then, Slow Core got another opportunity to break again and put the game out of reach. With Slow creating a 5-point deficit, the contest was over. Mama Bird was able to break one more time, but it was too late. Slow went on to score and win, 15-11. This game came down to who had a more efficient offense, and Slow's offense was on fire, only letting up 2 turns the whole game. Not to mention, those 2 turns came off of a huck attempt and an overthrown reset pass. Colorado didn't force a single D-line turn by touching the disc. To Colorado's credit though, they were able to convert on Slow's 2 turns, giving them a 100% conversion rate. It surprised me that with the windy conditions, Mama Bird didn't try to run a zone once, only sticking to man for the whole game. I think if they tried more junky looks on defense, they could have forced a few more turns out of Slow, which likely would have been converted. Number 00 Tobias Brooks and number 31 Dexter Luke contributed to 6 out of the 9 Mama Bird turnovers. Tobias had 3 throwaways, which included a no-book pass while they were down 13-8. And Dexter had a throwaway, a drop, and a catch out of bounds. Honestly, Colorado just had an off day hucking in the wind, but Slow was able to take full advantage, keeping their undefeated season alive. There was some controversy this year surrounding the tournament format. In years past, every team still had an opportunity to play in the Monday bracket after Saturday, and would only be eliminated if they didn't perform well in Sunday's pools. The format was likely changed due to teams wanting fewer games on Monday and to prevent teams from sandbagging on the crossover. But the new format means fewer games all around, and teams like Smog and Thunderbirds can be eliminated on day 1. Let me know in the comments what you think of the Prez Days format, and if it should stay implemented in the future. It's been 5 years since the last time Slow won at Prez Day, and in that finals game, their fate came down to a universe point.
Stall call upheld by the observer. Turnover. Cal Poly disc.